guys ready for the best cell shader of your life? And so I drag and dropped my cell shader from my latest cell shader tutorials from like a year ago onto these models, but they just looked terrible. So I decided, okay, I need to make a new cell shader. How do I do this? So I started it off, diffuse BSDF, shader to RGB, and then a color ramp. Just as simple as that, right? And then I figured, like, okay, in the rest of my more painterly style, I have like the colorized version of things, and then I use an overlay from a non-colored diffuse just to get the saturated colored light interaction. And oh my goodness, this is the ultimate cell shader. And it's so simple to make. This will take like 5 minutes, right, at most, and I'll just recreate this for you guys live. All you need to do is just grab a diffuse BSDF, and then we'll also grab a shader to RGB, and then we'll do the color ramp, right? You guys have probably done this so many times, right? That's a color ramp. That's an what the heck? Color ramp. There we go. Okay, just connect it there. Change this to constant. And it's very important to know where we're going to be putting this, the white color stop, because there's a specific point that the diffuse BSDF naturally softens into, I guess, for its gradients. But we'll just leave this here for now. And then from here, I'll just add that overlay, connect it right there. And then we'll just duplicate the diffuse BSDF. And then from here, I'm just gonna select the diffuse and press Control T. We don't need the image texture node there. We just need the texture coordinate and mapping node. And we'll just copy the overlay, bring it over in between our mapping and texture coordinate nodes, and we'll connect the normal to the A input and the object to the B input. And then from there, we'll just need to add a vector transform node. Set that right here. We'll connect these just like that, right? So that's the connection that's gonna go into the overlay. And then we'll change the top convert from world to object, and then the convert to world. It allows us to rotate objects, and the light will naturally just like rotate around. And so then we'll just connect the shader to RGB to that overlay. Oh wait, I don't have any saturation on this, and it's just black and white, so there's not going to be anything there. So now we just needed to color pick what colors these are going to be. I'm just going to do a very light tan, and I'm just eyeballing these. A rule of thumb would be that anything that's lighter is going to be less saturated, and anything that's darker or has a darker value is going to be more saturated. We could even just bring the value up a little bit more. And then I'm going to zoom in, and you guys can see here that if I increase the overlay, you can see where the regular diffuse has its gradual soft shift. And we're just gonna try to put our cell shader line where that starts, probably at like 0.05. Yeah, that should be good. And then we'll just decrease the overlay to like 0.5. And so what that will do is if I add a point light, and I'm gonna change this to be a very saturated color, right? So we have that hue, and we have a little bit more of the saturation level, and you can use the overlay to determine how much you want the hue and saturation to affect it, or how little you want it to affect it, right? And so I like having the overlay at 0.5. I think that gives it a nice fade. I'll stress test this right now for you guys. So we have a green light right there. I'll bring one over here, and then we'll do blue. And you guys can see it still has the cell shaded shading set up there, and it's shifting between the green and the blue and the orange of our lantern over here. And so we have something that can work really well, and so well that I decided to add this to my greatsword. And so this was a sword that I made for a previous asset pack, and I just wanted to test it out to see what it would look like. I think this looks really great. You can add a glossy BSDF over it. So I'll show you guys with the pickaxe once again. You just need to add a glossy BSDF, shader to RGB, a color ramp, and it doesn't matter where you have the white color stop. It could have little, it could have a lot. It's up to you. And then you just connect that to the factor of a mix right before the overlay. And then you can use the B input to control what color you want that glossy reflection to be. If you wanted to have this be a colored metal, like we could do the gold, give this a little bit of a lighter yellow hue. Now we have a gold anime cell shader, and we could give this reflective color just a little bit of saturation towards that yellow hue. And that gives it more of like a soft gold look. That's just one thing. Very simple, easy way to add a whole other layer that once again makes it so that the rest of your scene looks like it's in the anime style. I'm noticing that this actually has shadows. I'm gonna enable the shadows. That's another thing. And before I share more about how to set up your 3D objects to look even more like the anime style, if you want to continue seeing more videos from the Comfee Mug, becoming a $1 per month member on my Patreon is not only the best way to show your support, but will also give you access to all of my exclusive content and a front row seat to the making of Banner of Souls, the 3-season animated series I'm currently working on. In order to keep this channel alive, I need to make $5,000 per month by the end of 2026. We're already a fifth of the way there, and with each milestone we hit on the way, I'm going to do something special for you guys, like bringing back the Comfee Mug Discord channel when we reach $3,000 per month. If you can't donate $1 monthly, I understand. But if you can, you will be the reason why the Comfee Mug channel continues to make content. Thank you so much to all of my supporters who already give to this channel, especially my Elder Mug members. It makes me so happy that I get to share my actual asset files with you guys. And now let me teach you how to better integrate your cell shaded objects into your scene. For the cell shaded objects, I've disabled the shadow. If I were to enable it, you would get more of like the softer shading of self-cast shadows and whatnot. That is fixable, but only in the lights settings. And sometimes you want more of the softer light. And so I don't think that it takes away the idea that this particular object is in the environment, and it just makes the object itself and the cell shader look so much cleaner. Another thing is that for the diffuse that's creating the gradient style saturation, I have a mix in between here. If I decrease it so that it's only in the normal, you can see where the normal of the actual object itself starts to have the saturation of the light fade before it can reach the next panel. And so that looks more 3D. It's a very minor thing, but you can see the difference. You can see how it has, just being in between the normal and the object output, it has a much softer glow. If I were to go all the way to the object side, then I think it would have a little bit too much of a gradient there. And it's also incumbent on where the origin of your object is. But if I decrease this to 0.5 so that it's just the right amount of mix between the normals and the origin point, it keeps much more of that saturation for longer, I would say, and in a little bit more mathematically correct areas. But how do I say this? Just the least amount that you would need while not looking completely 3D. But yeah, that's the cell shader there for you guys. And thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. Remember to like, subscribe, and share, and also consider becoming a $1 monthly member on my Patreon. And if you want to learn more about anime style compositing, you can check out this video right here.